welcome to another episode of the G.I. Joe New News Classified Review. I am back, and we are here to talk about Storm Shadow, number 35. This Storm Shadow was long in the waiting. We had several Storm Shadows prior to this, and we were a little bit mystified as to why this one was our third Storm Shadow and not the first Storm Shadow. But we're going to go into all that mystery and explain everything as we go through this video. But it is number 35 again. And let's see if we can figure out some of these designations for Storm Shadow. So let's see. Obviously, he's a Cobra. And let's see. He has a bladed weapon, which is a knife on there. He is also, looks like maybe he has the chemical engineering. Looks like there's a skull on here. And then he has, let's see, I think he has the throwing star. Let's see if I can find that. Throwing star. I don't see the throwing star. Let's see. Oh, so the skull that was on there was covert ops. It's not chemical engineering. So I found the right one for that. I'm guessing this one is throwing stars, and then I'm not sure what the other one is. I think it's infiltration. So you got throwing star, bladed weapon, and covert ops is our designations for Storm Shadow number 35. So there you go. So he's got the new packaging, which is more of a Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes feud type packaging. So they've finally switched that up, and he's got some really nice, cool, like animated style artwork on there. So we will get into all that. But first, let's get into his history. First, we're going to go to Dan Klingsmith's series of books. Creating G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero. This is volume number 2. And so we have Storm Shadow. There you go. And there's a lot of versions of this Storm Shadow. Turnarounds by Ron Rudat and the team at Hasbro in the 80s. Let's read a little bit about what they say about version 1 Storm Shadow. Alternate names: Ghost Shadow. Year release 1984, designed by Ron Rudat. Yes, Ron Rudat did the first 7 years or so, mostly all the figures and vehicles. Next to Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow is one of the most recognizable characters from the G.I. Joe brand, staying true to what traditional ninjas would wear. Ron dressed Storm Shadow in white I'm not sure what that is. Kikogi clothing, and gave him 2 swords, nunchucks, and a long bow. So yeah, you can see all these different turnarounds and his figure design there in the corner. So that's Storm Shadow, and then we're gonna go to Carson's series of books. This is creating the art, collecting the art of G.I. Joe. This is volume 2, 1984 to 1985, through 3D Joe's Carson Metaxas. There you go. And we're going to show the original package art for Storm Shadow. And there you go. Original package art for Storm Shadow and his accessories. There you are. So then we're going to go to Storm Shadow's first appearance in Marvel's original series, A Real American Hero from 1982 to 1984, written by Larry Hama, and there's Storm Shadow's first appearance. This is almost my first issue. Issue 23 was my first issue, but this is very, very close. I've read this issue and gone through this so many times. Uh, there's a cool scene with Cobra Commander where he has like explosives coming out of his head, to try and threaten the Joes. And I thought when I was a young kid that was like some alien brain or something like that. Goes to show you how immature I was at the time. And so then we're going to go into the vintage figure. Let's see. Here's my vintage Storm Shadow figure. It's a pretty tight figure. And you can tell the magnesium in these is a lot more prevalent, because it's kind of turning him a little bit yellow. You can't really tell on the screen there, but he's not very yellow, but he's slightly yellow. And you can see the paint on the wristbands are solid white, whereas the rest of him is a little off white. He's got his backpack, and that's about the only accessory it looks like I have for him. I don't have his swords or his bow. But this version is very tight, very strong. So it has new O-rings and stuff like that. And I like the fact that they have those eyes in there. I don't know how well you can see those eyes, but that's gonna carry over to the Classiied as well. Those really cool looking eyes. So there you go. There's your vintage Storm Shadow. And all the information about him. And so we're going to go into the Classiied Storm Shadow. So now that we're back doing Classiied reviews, we're going to be going pretty fast with these because they are going quicker than we can keep up with in Classiied. There's so many new figures, so many new fun things coming out. It's really wild. So, like I said before, number 35, and he's got this cool artwork on the side that wraps around to there. And a lot of the ninjas seem to have this style of animation art, I've noticed. And because he's a Cobra, or this version of Storm Shadow is a Cobra, we have the inside Cobra logo. And like I said before, we have this mysterious poster on the back, and it has a character right there in the middle there, crouching down. You can't hardly see him with this. My lighting, I'm trying to still adjust it, but he's in front. Maybe that's Snake Eyes, and it's the Arashikage temple there. So we'll have to see what's going on with that. So we'll put that aside, and we will get into Storm Shadow version 1, number 35, Classiied. So here we go. Now, he looks really cool just out of the package. He looks really cool right out of the package. He's got different shades of his Kiko gear, I guess. He's got like beige on here, or light gray around his hands as well. He's got some sheaths on there on the wrists as well. He's got a secondary belt here. He's got like a little thing around his neck that looks like it's more of a cowl that's been put around the neck. He's got a black belt on his waist. He's got the secondary ab crunch and waist articulation. He's got the butterfly shoulder there. He's got all the normal articulation, the muscle there, the elbow, the double pinned elbows. Let's see, does he have the wrist? He does have the wrist, which is very rare. We haven't seen that a lot in recent classified figures, but there was a couple earlier in the 20s that had it. So they're mixing and matching the different articulations. He's got the double pinned a knee articulation. He's got the ankle rocker there. He's got the thigh swivel and the normal waist articulation there in his crotch. So he's got all the articulation points pretty much. And I'm guessing they gave him that extra one in the wrist because he's a ninja and he should be able to do a lot more stuff. Now we're going to get into what I was talking about with the eyes. Now look at this gaze. Look at how menacing that is. They really get the detail in these figures with those eyes, and I really, really like it. It gives you some character and stuff like that. He's also got the Cobra sigil on his epaulette there. He's got a hole in this secondary in the back, so it'll probably be part of his backpack. He's got a little bitty hook there, so that's probably going to be something that's going to go there. He's got like the hands have like two different colors. He's got some flesh color on there on two fingers to hold the bow, probably like you would naturally if you were a ninja. And then his other one is all white. So they did that to signify that that's his bow hand, probably. But I love a lot of the detail. You can't hardly see a lot of this detail, but there's a lot of detail in the uh, his gi or whatever, and it looks really cool. He's got the black on the bottoms of the feet, and on the the rocker part they're white, but then this part around the ankle is all gray. Um, so I'm sure you're going to be able to get him into lots of cool positions. So let's get into some of the accessories. Now he comes with a lot of accessories. Because they showed that hood where it could go down, you can make him into the that scene where he ends up, spoiler ahead, he ends up hurting. I guess you have to take his head off. So his head comes off, and then this thing drops, which thankfully I found it. So then you put uh, the hood on. I don't know how that would work. And then you put the head on. Yeah, I guess so. You put the head back on there, and then you put the hood around the head there. So it pops back on. So you got that hooded feel like that. So it looks cooler, like he was trying to kill a character. I'm not going to spoil who that character was that he tried to kill, or I should say he did kill. So we're going to take his backpack off. Now his backpack is very similar to the one in the vintage. The difference is this one has a lot more paint deco. It has some red, it has the Arashikage, has the red arrows, and so on and so forth on there. It looks really cool. There's some greeble on there to give it some texture. You can see that texture a little bit there. So because he has that hole in his back and his secondary, I'm going to try to squeeze this into both of those at the same time and get a tight grip on that. Yep, I did. I was able to get that on there. So I'm hoping that we can get most of this gear on him, because that's one of the things that bothers me is when you can't get a lot of gear on these. So all right, so the next thing I'm going to pull out is his bow, his mysterious bow that he uses to assassinate people. And it's really big. It's much bigger than the bows we've gotten previously. And there's some deco on there. There's some red deco. There's some a lot of greeble in there, like technical stuff, because this is a compound bow, so there's technical stuff in there. So I'm going to try to get this into this hand. I don't know if I will be able to, but I'm going to try. I got it in there. Now I'm not sure if that's the right spot. Let's see. I'm going to take that back off. I'm going to put it in another spot. I'm going to put the red handle there instead. All right, so I have the red handle there. So it's on him. There you go. All right, so then he has an arrow, and there's a spot in the backpack that has a hole in the top of it. Top of the backpack has a hole. You can probably not see that hole, but there's a hole right there. So I'm guessing in order to have some play value to this, they put that hole there so you can have them grab the arrow from there and put it on the bow. So there's the arrow in the quiver. And then we have, let's see what this is. This, I'm not sure. Oh, that's the thing that goes probably on the back, a little doodad that was on there. Because geese usually have these type of things, the ties. So we're going to do that. If we can get it to go on. I don't know. They're like that. Ties. Gonna hopefully that'll stay on there. There. And then we're gonna pull his swords up. Now he has two spots on his backpack for two swords. So we're not going to put both of the swords in his hands. We're going to try to put one in his hand and one in the backpack. Let's see if we can get away with this. We're going to do the smaller sword in the backpack. So he's got two spots. There's one sword in the backpack, and one sword, I'm going to try to get it in his hand. There you go. And he has his sword in his hand. And it's kind of like pointing at Snake Eyes, kind of like not menacingly, but kind of like annoyingly, pointedly, like accusing Snake Eyes of being a putz or whatever it is that Storm Shadow thinks he is. So the only thing that we don't have on there right now is this extra neck part. So yeah, I don't know if I could have left that on there or not. I could have probably left that on there. But overall, I think this is a fantastic Storm Shadow. This is the Storm Shadow we've wanted for quite a while. Since we've gotten 35 and then all the variants. So about 40 figures we got to this point, and it's taken us that long to get to vintage Storm Shadow. But I think he looks really good. I think they kept to the original. And because they had several different ninjas to play around with, the Red Ninja, several Snake Eyeses at this point, and then several different Storm Shadows, they could mix and match and get the right design aesthetics for him. And I think overall, he looks really, really good. I think this is probably the vintage Storm Shadow, the best classified version of him that we could possibly have gotten. They classified him up, of course, and he looks really, really good. I like the fact that they did the different gi where it cuts off up there by the shoulder instead of at the elbow like it does in the vintage. It cuts off there. and I love that they added the different layers with these things on the ankles and stuff like that. Where in the original it was all white, they changed it and made it grayish. They gave him a little color. They added some color to the bow and arrows and his backpack, and uh, his uh, shins, wrist shins and stuff like that. I like a lot of that stuff that gives him more 3D, more color and stuff like that. I think that's better. Um, they didn't really give him stars. They have stars on his secondary there that are in silver, but they didn't give him anything to throw. I would have liked to have had like a throwing type thing, because later figures end up uh, having those throwing things, those things that you could use to throw. Um, but I love the layering and stuff. You can see the different layering of the gi in there. Um, I really think they did a really good job. The upscaling of him and some of the detail. They have that double toe thing there on his feet. That's very, very ninja-esque. And because of the rockers, you can move him around. Um, so he was a good addition to the classified line. I'm very happy with this figure. Um, I I don't think this is probably going to be a better Storm Shadow. Storm Shadow version 2 is my favorite, but this is really nice. I really like it a lot. So I'm going to add him to my roster of Cobras over here. There. And we'll put this away. And so since I was away for a little while, we are going to be moving a lot quicker now with these classified reviews. We'll probably be doing one every couple of days to try and get caught up. Like I said, they're very close to the 200 classified figure right now. They're in the middle of doing the Snowcat that has 3 new figures. So we're probably going to be in the 200s by, I would say, Christmas time. And then that also includes all the retro figures. That includes all the specialty figures and the 60th anniversary figures and oddball one-off figures and stuff like that. That we're going to be getting to very shortly. So there's going to be a lot of figures covered. So stick with me. Make sure you like, share, and hit that notification button. I'm working on my display in my room that I'm in right now. I reworked it all, and I'm fixing it up right now. It's pretty close. I just got to store some stuff. And then as I go through some of these classified vehicles that we're going to be getting, they're going to just go right behind me. All those huge vehicles that is coming in this line that I will be reviewing one by one as we get to the numbering. So we're on 35. So we have 65 more figures to get to the one big vehicle. And then from then on, it's going to be vehicles forward to that. I know you guys are going to have a ball with that sort of stuff. And hopefully, by the time we get to the Snowcat, we'll have all that display filled up one by one, and it'll look really cool with those vehicles because they're going to be big. So if there's anything you guys would like to ask, feel free. I appreciate everybody watching in the chat, and I appreciate everybody watching after the fact. And if you'd like to share this video, please do. That's how we get more folks like yourselves to come on here and check us out. If we can get to 200, we will do another Street Fighter figure. So that's probably what we're going to do. Every 100 subs that we get, If we can get to 200, it'll be a Street Fighter. 300, Street Fighter. 400, Street Fighter, and so on and so forth. And I'll try to come up with a cool list to talk about. We did my favorite characters of all time in a top 10 list with a couple of honorable mentions. Maybe next time we can just do Joe's, or maybe the one after that we can just do Cobra's, and then we can get into some fun stuff like oddball stuff, creepy crawly stuff, my favorite creepy crawlies, and different things. And then you guys can suggest lists. So every time we get up to another video for that 100 sub video, and we can do some fun stuff. I want you guys to be involved in this. This is for your benefit. This is so you can have a good time watching these videos and learning new things about these characters and their history. So that's why we do the retro version and the classified comparison. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will be back in a couple of days with number 36, and I will give you a sneak peek. It is one of my all-time favorite G.I. Joe characters, Spirit Iron Knight. I will say it's probably my favorite Joe character, not my favorite all-time character, but my favorite Joe character. So I'm going to have a lot to say about Spirit. So that's our next video, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the future. Thank you again. And because this is a Cobra video, we're going to say